This is News Hour on Ifako Radio. Good morning and happy weekend. I'm Olaniri Tiololade. The major headlines. Okonjo-Iweala, give Tinubu credit for stabilizing economy. Pension funds. Strike countdown begins as PENCOM Labour disagree. Tambuwal fights back over 189 billion naira EFCC probe. Sting operation. EFCC denies targeting Obasanjo, arraigned suspects today. Count APC out of terrorism. Bashiru fires Canadian courts. Sports. NSC suspends NBF elections to aid due process. Entertainment. Kiss Daniel is one of Nigeria's greatest artists, says Fido. Bella Okagwe empathizes with Fina over sister's accident. News in detail. Okonjo-Iweala, give Tinubu credit for stabilizing economy. The Tinubu administration deserves credit for stabilizing the economy, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, said yesterday. She lauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's sweeping economic reforms, describing them as pivotal in restoring economic stability and laying the groundwork for sustainable growth. She spoke after visiting the president at the State House, Abuja, yesterday. Also yesterday, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, reiterated that Nigeria remains open and ready for business with the rest of the world. He pointed to improved economic indicators as evidence of a stable and investment-friendly environment. Pension funds. Strike countdown begins as PENCOM Labour disagree. The Nigerian Labour Congress has threatened a nationwide strike if the federal government fails to return what it claims to be billions of naira taken from workers' insurance contributions. It also demanded that the government fill the leadership gap in the country's Pension Regulatory Commission within a week. The NLC accused the federal government of siphoning 40% of contributions from the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund into the National Treasury. The fund, which is financed by payroll deductions from millions of workers, is meant to protect them in the event of injury or job loss. However, the National Pension Commission argued that the contributory pension scheme remains secure and continues to grow as it kicked against claims of missing funds. Tambuwal fights back over 189 billion naira EFCC probe. Former Sokoto State Governor and Senator representing Sokoto South, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, has vowed not to be silenced by what he described as intimidation and blackmail, following his release on bail by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The EFCC has squeezed Tambuwal and detained him for a night over alleged 189 billion naira fraud. He was later released on administrative bail. Tambuwal, who returned to Sokoto on Thursday to a hero's welcome from thousands of supporters, addressed the cheering crowd at his residence, pledging to continue the fight for equitable and democratic governance in the state. Sting operation. EFCC denies targeting Obasanjo, arraigned suspects today. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has denied that the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, Ogun State, was the target of his recent sting operation in which 93 suspected internet fraudsters were arrested. The management of the OOPL had on Wednesday condemned the night operation and the arrest of guests at the guest house within the OOPL facility, describing the operation as a calculated attack, ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo, and a stark and blatant violation of the rights of the people who gathered for the event. The OOPL management demanded 3.5 billion naira in compensation as well as public apology within 7 days, failing which it would go to court. However, in a statement on Thursday, EFCC spokesman Dele Oyewale said the arrest took place at a hotel located within the precincts of the OOPL and not at the library itself. He explained that the operation followed intelligence reports that the suspects were holding a pool party to celebrate alleged illicit activities. Count APC out of terrorism, Bashiru fires Canadian court. The ruling All Progressives Congress has poo-poohed the ruling of a federal court of Canada that classified the party and the opposition People's Democratic Party as terrorist organizations. Justice Fong Ungo was reported to have ruled on June 17 that the two major parties in Nigeria are terror organizations, while denying asylum to one Douglas Egareva over his decade-long affiliation with both political parties. The judge dismissed Egbareva's application for judicial review after the Immigration Appeal Division found him inadmissible under Canada's Immigration and Refugee Protection Act. The Canadian Minister of Public Safety and Emergency Preparedness was said to have argued that the APC and PDP were implicated in political violence, subversion of democracy, and electoral bloodshed in Nigeria. The court records also showed that Egbareva was a PDP member from 1999 to 2007 before joining the APC, where he remained until 2017. He moved to Canada in September 2017 and disclosed his political history. Dismissing the judgment in Abuja yesterday, APC National Secretary Senator Ajibola Bashiru said that APC is a credible democratic political organization and does not seek legitimacy from a foreign bench and under a law that has no extraterritorial application. By-election, 17 parties, 637 candidates vying for 68 seats. To ensure each free by-elections tomorrow, the Independent National Electoral Commission has distributed sensitive materials in 12 states to the involved senatorial districts and federal and state constituencies. The polls are holding in 2 senatorial districts, Edo Central and Anambra South, 5 federal constituencies and 9 state constituencies. The seats became vacant as a result of deaths, loss of seats after litigation and resignation. The Edo Central seat became vacant following the resignation of Senator Monday Okpebholo, who was elected governor. A by-election would also hold in Ovia North, Ovia South federal constituency due to the elections of Dennis Idahosa as Edo State Deputy Governor. In Anambra South Senatorial District, voters would elect a replacement for Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, who passed on last year. The political parties and candidates ended their campaigns yesterday as stipulated by the Electoral Act. National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeku, said in a statement that all bimodal voter accreditation system had been configured for the election. He also explained that 17 political parties have nominated 637 candidates for the 68 seats. Sports. NSC suspends NBF elections to aid due process. The Director General of the National Sports Commission, Bukola Olopade, has suspended the Nigeria Boxing Federation elections to ensure due process and allow proper participation of all stakeholders in the electoral process. Olopade made the swift response in addressing the perceived anomalies leading to the now postponed NBF elections. The suspension followed widespread disbelief among boxing stakeholders after a timetable was released for the polls, with less than a 48-hour window for aspirants to complete their nomination forms and screening processes. The aggrieved members reached out to the NSC leadership, citing a perceived ploy to shut out prospective candidates from participating in the election with such extremely short notice. Entertainment. Kiss Daniel is one of Nigeria's greatest artists, says Fido. Rising Nigerian Afrobeats artist Olayemi Josiah Awoshika, aka Fido, has named Kiss Daniel as one of Nigeria's greatest artists. In a recent interview, Fido, who collaborated with Kiss Daniel on the remix of his hit single Joy, said the Bugaz singer's impact on the Afrobeat genre is impeccable. In his words, Kiss Daniel is one of the greatest artists in Nigeria. He has made such an impact for us in the music industry and for Afrobeats across the country. Bella Okagwe empathizes with Fina over sister's accident. Reality TV show Bella Okagwe has expressed her solidarity with her colleague Fina over the recent accident involving the later sister Ruth Otabo and a truck driver. The incident left Ruth's leg amputated, with a possibility of the other leg being affected. Okugwe's message conveyed her shock and sadness over the incident, describing it as heartbreaking. She urged the truck company to take full responsibility for the situation, citing allegations of negligence and attempts to cover it up. Okagwe also offered her support to Fina, emphasizing that she stands with her in seeking justice. Recap of the major headlines. Okonjo-Iweala: give Tinubu credit for stabilizing economy. Pension funds: strike countdown begins as PENCOM Labour disagree. Tambuwal fights back over 189 billion naira EFCC probe. Sting operation: EFCC denies targeting Obasanjo, arraigned suspects today. Counts APC out of terrorism, Bashiru fires Canadian court. Sports: NSC suspends NBF elections to aid due process. Entertainment: Kiss Daniel is one of Nigeria's greatest artists, says Fido. Bella Okagwe empathizes with Fina over sister's accident. Follow us on all our social media handles: Facebook at Ifako Radio, X at Ifako Radio, YouTube at Ifako Radio, WhatsApp at Ifako Radio, Instagram at Ifako_radio. For news reporting, contact us at ifakoradio@gmail.com or call or WhatsApp 091 22 22 7433. Special thanks to the news producer Olanireti Olusegun. Thanks for watching. I'm Olanireti Ololade. Have a lovely Friday. God bless Ifako Jaye.
Looking for reliable brand for import and export, logistics and cargo services, ticket booking, or general merchandising? At Divine and Grace Enterprises, they specialize in seamless global trade, efficient cargo handling, top-notch travel support, and trusted merchant services. Whether it's getting your goods across borders, booking a flight, or managing cargo with precision, they deliver with speed, reliability, and care. You can visit them at Nako Export Warehouse, International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos State. You can contact them on 0803 406 1483, 0817 287 4375, or email it divineandgraceenterprises@gmail.com. Divine and Grace Enterprise, your reliable brand for logistics and merchandise.